Welcome to Soul Whisperings vlog. I'm Monica Morrissey, owner and author. I'm owner of Intuitive Wellness and author of 3 books. I write about signs of the afterlife. And I love to have guests on here who are following their soul. And today we have Barbie on. Barbie Holt is a visionary who embodies the essence of resilience and determination, has journeyed through life with a heart full of dreams and a will to achieve them. By 23, she had embraced the joys of marriage, motherhood, and a fulfilling career in teaching. Despite the outward appearance of success, Barbie grappled with self-esteem issues and feelings of inadequacy while juggling the demands of entrepreneurship and a growing family. However, upon reaching her 50s, she experienced a profound epiphany that led to a renewed pursuit of happiness and fulfillment, fundamentally understanding that success is a product of one's mindset and daily habits. Now, Barbie is a celebrated coach and motivational speaker, empowering women to define and achieve their dreams with joy and intention. As the host of the Unlocking Success podcast, she continues to spread her message of personal transformation and the power of small daily actions. Welcome, Barbie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's so weird. Like I get teary. It's so silly. But I'm like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So tell us a little bit about your journey and what got you here.
Okay, great. I really appreciate it. It mentions there, how I used to have all these little dreams as a girl, and they really became fulfilled at a young age. And then as I started my new phase of life in my 20s of becoming a mom, and I retired from teaching so that I could be home with my kids, and I ended up having 5 kids over 13-year period. So we actually just moved our youngest out to college, so we're official empty nesters now. But I really spent 25 years just surviving day to day, and feeling bad about it, feeling bad that I was living in the survival mode. I was very aware of it, but wasn't really sure how to do it any differently, and knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and there was nothing wrong with that. However, I always had a desire to have something for myself. So I joined a network marketing company just so I could have my own little outlet. And that gave me the ability to still be able to be around adults. It gave me the opportunity to still use my teaching skills, bring in some income, which I loved having my own money. I loved saying to my husband, oh, I bought a present. You'll find out when you see the credit card what you got for yourself. So, I love just having my own money. I loved having my kids see me set goals, accomplish goals, miss goals. So many of the things that I watch them now in their lives, I know they saw me do. And so I'm really grateful that I chose to do that. But being a mom was my biggest focus. So, fast forward to that age when we get that around that age 50, there's just something about that age. We've lived here for half a century. Holy moly. And you're
Mhm.
like, okay, so it feels like we're on the downward, arms in the air. Here we go. We're on the downward slide of our life, right? So I was carrying just, I don't know, guilt and shame around. I was not feeling happy. And then when I look at my life, I'm like, why am I not feeling happy? Like, look at my life. I have a great life. I have so many things I said that I wanted, and I just feel miserable. And then there was just so much, like I said, guilt and shame around that. And so, really, what started happening for me is that I had a thought come to my mind, and I'm a big believer in the Holy Spirit, and you know, we have thoughts come to us whether we choose to listen or ignore them. This time, I listened, and the thought was, well, if you were to be living a happy, fulfilled, satisfied life, what does it look like? I really had never taken the time to decide what that looks like. You know, I can think back to being 6, 7, 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old. I could see my life. I could see myself teaching. I could see myself having a family. And since then, I really hadn't been able to see anything, even though I learned all about goal setting and dreaming in my network marketing company. And I always, wanted to achieve certain things. This isn't the same. And I really believe that success comes from becoming who you're meant to be and not achieving goals. That really is what my heart was telling me, is that you can try and achieve goals all day long, but if you really don't know why you're here and what you're supposed to do and what's going to light your soul on fire, then none of those goals will matter. So that's really where this new version of my journey started. Was I started writing down, okay, if I woke up in the morning and opened my eyes, what do I want to see? Well, I would love to be energetic. I would love to jump out of bed. In my story I was writing, it was like a story. You know, I didn't see the current house I was living in. I was like, well, I see a different house and one without stairs because my knees were starting to make noise at night when I went to bed. I wanted to have a one-story house. So just little things. That's very temporal thing. But what does my spirit want to feel like every single day? I want to be filled with joy and happiness. I don't want to be like super grumpy and it takes me just so long to find things that I love. I just want to be living this life. So I started getting very specific and I would just write and write. And I wrote and rewrote for at least a month, because here's what happens. As you start writing things, the brain, I'm very geeky on the brain. I just love how it works. It starts telling you like, that's not possible. You can't do that. Don't, girl, what are you thinking? No, 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 no. That's not who you are. And you really have to fight through that. And what I try to tell people is that we think this guy's in charge. It's not. Like, we're in charge. And one of the best things I learned at age 50 was that you don't have to believe everything you think. And that honestly was news to me. I was like, what? I literally was believing all this nonsense that's going on in my mind. Now, is the nonsense still there? Yes. But I don't really listen to it as much anymore. I believe that what you speak is what you believe. You don't have to believe what it's your mind is just saying. That's just patterns of years and years of experiences and things, maybe traumas. They're there. We all have them, especially at this age. But we get to be in charge of the brain, and we get to say, yeah, this is what I want. And a big thing I've been working on with my clients this month has been to say this statement when we hear something. We could say to ourselves, it's not true that whatever we just heard. Like, have you ever stubbed your toe and been like, I'm such an idiot? As if that is a true statement because you stubbed your toe. But it's kind of a place we go to. And so it's not true that I'm an idiot. I just accidentally stubbed my toe. We can put truth into it. So that's a little bit about what got me on this path. And then people started watching what I was doing. I started creating these different habits. And the first habit I started was for running for 1 minute, which would sound so crazy. But being a runner was part of my dream, because I had family who was runners, my sisters, my dad. I was feeling kind of left out. I'd been overweight for a very long time. And I thought, okay, well, runners are skinny. So if I just start running, I'll be skinny. And I thought being skinny was just going to solve all my problems. And it totally didn't, because I actually didn't get really skinny. But I created confidence and strength and this whole new world of habits just from running for a minute and doing that day after day after day. And I actually increased a minute every day. And I did that for 66 days. So I freaking ran for more than an hour. And what I found is that I really don't like running. I actually don't run anymore. My dreams have changed since that first time I wrote the dream. Now I just want to be strong. I want to be able to pick up my grandson without having an enormous backache. I want to play on the floor with him and enjoy this time. And so I'm all about now strength and longevity and good health. So dreams can change, but that's kind of where I started. And then people were like, hey, what are you doing? Can you help me? Because we get in this place where we feel stuck. Mm-hmm. And the truth is we're really either moving forwards or backwards. We really don't stand still in life. Like, we're not the same as we were yesterday. In 3 hours, I won't be the same after having this time with you. We're constantly changing and evolving. I believe we're sent here on this earth to change and evolve and grow, to say this, not to stay the same person. So that is my passion, is helping women realize you can do more. You can have change. It's okay to want change. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I shouldn't want those things. Why not? You could want anything you want. This is your life, and there's nothing wrong with it. And gosh, so many women are like, I don't even know where to start. This is just who I am. I've tried to change and then I fail. So I show you that you can break those patterns. I'm going to get you out of the hamster wheel. I'm kicking you out. No more hamster wheel. It's not fun. And let's live.
That is amazing. I can see why we connected so many. So I was married when I was 21, had my first kid when I was 24. Again, like all those things, like you grow up and you think like, oh, I'm gonna, I was a teacher for a lot of years, and was really consumed with that. The raising of the kids keeps you pretty busy, working, doing what you can. Um, I want to go back to your epiphany of like I don't have to believe every thought that I think.
Yeah.
So that came out in my first book. So my book is Dimes from Heaven: How Coins and Coincidences Help Me Discover My Life as an Empath. But
Mm,
say it's so much more than just the dimes, because like little things like what you just said, well, the self-confidence, I could really connect with that. Even though I looked on the outside, I looked like I was fine. Inside, I was believing everything that brain was saying. So I love
yeah.
brain work and love getting at like how our thoughts are affecting our bodies, how they're affecting our lives, all those things. And so I was 52 when I said, oh, wait, I don't have to believe everything that's going on up here. A lot of it I didn't want to even say out loud, right?
Yeah.
And so I love the fact that you did the running and then you were like, wait a minute, this isn't me, but it was your family, right? Like, and that's who you were around. And so that you're
Yes.
trying to do that, but then you kind of step back and say, oh, I actually don't like this, but
Yeah.
I like I felt like you were kind of saying, I like moving my body and doing different things with my body, because I do think that
Yes.
movement is important when we're doing this work. And so that's fascinating.
I love that. And what happened from that is it changed my identity.
Mm,
I became someone who moves their body every day. This was 3.5 years ago that this started. I pretty much move my body every day. It's just now part of who I am. If I don't get out, and I live in a climate where I can get out, even though we have very, very hot summers. Um, I started this in May and June and July when I was doing my running, and in Phoenix it's very hot, and so I did it in the morning time, and you know, it's just new. I actually had some injuries last year that made it impossible to move, to go out and walk, which is what I love, for about 3 months. And I had a little bit of an identity crisis. So, what I had to do was decide, well, what feelings do I get from getting out and moving my body? How can I recreate those feelings doing something else while I can't do this thing that I love? So, what this is all about is the feeling. It's really a feeling that we're looking for. It's not the thing, it's the feeling.
mhm.
And that is the important part, because honestly, a lot of times you get the feeling in a different way than you think. You start out one way and you realize I can get this feeling in another way. And I'm a big proponent of moving your body more for your mental health than anything else, than even your physical health. But of course, we know in this age, the whole physical health is very important. And here's another piece of this is, for years I've been saying, oh, I need to start lifting weights. Like, I know I'm losing muscle. I'm gonna hit menopause. You gotta strength train. This is what I've heard. But the brain doesn't really respond to this notion that we have to do something, we need to do something. It's like, nah, it's such a negative concept. So it's taken me a couple of years. I actually tried something last year, because I finally was a point where, like, I want to do this. When you finally get to a place where you want to do something, then you will do it. And this is why I created this dream design, so that you can start figuring out what you really, really, really want. And then you can take the steps to do it. I didn't get to do the full thing because of my injury, and the injury didn't even happen at the gym that I was going to. but it affected my ability to go there. And then I realized, I didn't even love that gym environment that I thought it was going to love. So I'm trying something new this year, So you can always evolve. You can always change your mind. And I think we don't believe that. I think we get in this thing of, well, we were going to do it this way. And you could have decided something yesterday and changed your mind today. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard this, like you can change your mind in the middle of a bag of chips. Like you literally can change your mind on a dime, on a dime.
I love it. I have not heard that chip reference, but that's a great one. And changing
Yeah.
the time, I love it. Um, so I just want to back up because, like, I think we're similar in age.
Hmm.
um, you know, I spent so much of my life um not understanding that too, that it was like a society programming that when I was at the supermarket, I was constantly buying all these magazines that gave me all the tricks to lose weight, and this is your answer. And I didn't realize how much time I thought about food, and also chastising myself for not exercising or doing anything, and
Yes.
I thought it was all about calories in, calories out, and there was just this constant battle, right? And that actually created more weight for me.
Yes.
Right, because
So true.
I'm so worried about being fat that then I just get fat, right? Like,
Yes.
when I like started to do this work too, like I realized, like, oh wait, I don't have to listen to all those things. And those things are created to make money, right? And they're there to sell me the magazine first, and then they're there to sell me the cure, this. I just find so many American women, we've lived our whole lives just kind of in that rat race, and then
Yeah.
knowing that this body is just temporary, and that like I don't have the body images that I used to have, and the weight like is just kind of falling off. But now when I move for it is for my mental wellness. It's
Yeah.
for my my mind body connection, and understanding that I hold all my feelings. And you said earlier it's about the feeling. So
Hmm.
like, and also, if I'm going back to where you said like the threat, it's almost like this threat, like you have to exercise because you're going through menopause, and then you're going to, lose muscle, and you're going to do all these things, right? Like, so humans don't go towards something due to the fact that it will fix some other problem. So, for instance,
Right.
like people won't stop smoking because they're worried about getting cancer. People
Right.
won't stop smoking because they know that they feel better without the cigarette. Right. And so, like, that's what you're moving towards, is like, it's not about getting skinny anymore. It's about feeling really, really good. And that feeling. It's kind of like, oh, do I really want to eat a salad? Well, how do I wanna feel afterwards? If I eat that
Hmm.
heavy mac and cheese, yeah, it's really good and tasty, but what do I have coming after my meal? Do I need to, like, feel better and, not go to sleep and all those things? So, like, turning towards food and towards, exercise because of the feeling that it gives you, the good feeling, and not
Yes.
worrying about, like, the negative, parts. Does that
100%. I always used to say, well, I know my spirit's skinny. It's okay. And I've come to understand more about myself and give myself a little bit more grace and a little bit more compassion and empathy that I give other people, because
Mm.
I'm very empathetic and compassionate towards others, but myself, man, knock myself down. And I really believe that my outer shell is a representation of some of the trauma that I carry. And so then I get annoyed, which is a horrible feeling. Annoyance is not a good place to be, but I will get annoyed with myself for doing things that I know. Like, this is what I hear from my clients all the time, and I've said this a million times. I know what to do, I just don't do it, and I don't understand why I don't do it. And so then there's this whole annoyance factor. I'm so annoyed that this trauma that maybe happened decades ago, why? Why do I still have it? Why am I still carrying it? What am I protecting myself from? Well, here's the thing. If you don't deal with it, it's not going anywhere. So sometimes I just had to get a bigger shovel and I had to dig deeper down. And deep down, where there's hurt, there can be healing. But it is a process that you have to intentionally do. And I know, and I believe 1,000,000% that with healing, the inside, the outside will be healed. And I'm starting to see that. And, when you were mentioning, how you want to feel, I'm thinking, I felt better than everybody else on Thanksgiving this year because I ate really well. I enjoyed it. I had one thing. I eat stuffing one time a year, and I didn't go crazy on it, and I enjoyed it. And yeah, I wasn't full. I wasn't, didn't need a nap. And I'm like, yeah, oh, it can be this way. It actually gave me confidence that I've lived for so long in lack, and this is so unfair. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's probably in about 2011, 12, somewhere in there. And that sent me on this whole it's not fair journey of I can't eat this. I've been talking about what I can't eat for so long and with annoyance. And then I actually just started making lists. Well, what can I eat and what do I love? And I focus on what I can eat and what I do love because the things I can't eat, why do I want to eat things that make me feel junky anyway? So that's really, and again, this is all mental shifting.
Mm.
None of it's really about the physical things we're doing. It's about the changing of our mind. It's about the changing of the way we think. And one of the things I work on with my clients is what we speak out loud. And I talked about that earlier, how the brain, what it hears is what it believes. And so when you start saying things like, I can't have this, I can't have that, the brain just, it latches onto those things. And like you said, when you're thinking about, I can't get fat, like that's all it hears. And so it actually brings more of what you don't want. And it's such a tricky little guy.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you've experienced this, but part of my healing is just managing my own internal energy. And so one of the things that I've done is to create like energetic boundaries so that I'm not like
Mm,
letting other people into my, and I'm protecting and my internal energy. I teach Reiki a lot and teach a lot of
yeah.
different things about that, right? And tuning into this. And one of the things that I discovered about being so sensitive, it's from that trauma from when I was young, right? Being an empath, from what I understand now, is this idea that, somebody wasn't happy in my family dynamics, right? And so I was constantly like scanning to see who's happy, who's not happy, like
Yes.
really picking up on signals to try to manage my own little life, right? When I was little. And so what I understood about some of the weight was it was actually a protection strategy that your body does to like protect
Right.
energetic. And so once I knew that it was, my heart was safe to say who I was, to express myself, I expressed myself in my books, I expressed myself here. Once I was like okay with who Monica is, whew, like
Wow.
just kind of like it literally melted away. But that's with those daily practices, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm doing things. That's that healing piece. And then there was another comment that you had said, and I wanted to go back to it. Now, of course, um, anyway, I'll probably lose it right now. But oh, back to um, thank you for giving me space to remember
Mhm.
diagnosis. So I've said I can't even believe the more we talk, the more similarities that we have. So I consider myself a Lyme warrior. I'm not claiming
Mm,
Lyme, but it has
gotcha.
affected my digestive system. And it's here to teach me a lesson, right? It's here to teach me that food is the medicine that will help me feel better. But we're around total Americanized diets, right? That are filled with gluten and filled with this,
Right.
filled with sugar. And, you know, I've read all the information about sugar and gluten, and like I know that my body can't handle it for whatever reason because of all the symptoms that I have going on. But it's that hardness of, or I don't know if you want to say hardness, or challenging to be around everybody else that's eating, you know,
Yeah.
things, and to know that, like, but again, I go back to, well, if I eat that, I am going to feel like crap. So I
Right.
don't want it. And I've really come to terms with that over the 2 years. And now I'm in a much better place. But at first it was just like I just kept seeing everything that I couldn't have and I wanted it.
Right.
And I would try it and be like, and then I'd feel like crap. And it's like,
Yeah.
but it's also cleaning up my diet so that I can live longer. Like, we only get
Yes.
one of these. and
Yeah.
then and then it's gonna be done, right? So
Yeah.
I can.
So it makes me think of a story because I'm going to tell two different stories, and they don't have to be next to each other, but these stories are about the times when I listened,
Mm,
because for so many years I didn't like to quiet myself. I would just say, I can't meditate. I can't sit quietly. I can't, I just hear, blah, 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 blah. I can't
okay.
quiet my mind, which is true. The mind will keep going. But so sometimes I would have a hard time listening to, I don't know, messages for me. And so when I was starting this process of writing my very first dream, um, one of the things I wrote down was that my Hashimoto's is cured. And I didn't know at the time that really isn't get cured, but it can go into remission. Like, it's once it's kind of in your body, you have it, and that's fine, but you can deal with it, live with it. So when I got that diagnosis, I went on medicine and actually worked with naturopathic doctors. So um, it wasn't, a prescription medicine, but it was thyroid medicines just the same. And I thought, oh, good, I just got to go on medicine, then I'm going to get skinny, which of course I didn't. I went off all this food because people are like, oh, how do you live without, eating all these foods? I'm like, apparently just fine. So I'm doing good. I have not starved to death at all. But I was on medicine for 8 years, but I was saying in my dream, my dream became so clear, like I could see it like a movie in my mind. And I pull things out of my dream and I say them, like my Hashimoto's is cured. I just start to say things. And so it came time that my prescription was up. I needed to have, a new blood draw. Well, my doctor, he had gotten Parkinson's at a young age, and so he had to step away from his practice. Well, his wife was in the practice as well. She's an RN. She also had gotten her naturopathic doctor's degree, and so I went to see her. The nurse said, she'd like to see you. We need to do new blood draw before we know if we need to adjust your medicine. Blah blah. So I didn't say anything to her. I just went in to get my blood draw, and she said, "So I'm just looking at your chart," and she goes, "I think we can get you off your medicine, and you can live with this." And I'm like, "What?" Didn't even say anything to you about this, but you put these things out there and you can't make these things up. That she would pull me in and be like, I just think differently than my husband. And he just believed that you just go on medicine for the rest of your life. And I just believe might be able to get you off. It's going to not be easy, but I think we can do it. We did it. I had
That's
been off my thyroid medication for probably 4 years. And
wow.
it's holding. I mean, it's a sliver, but it holds. And I just think that is the coolest thing, because if I believe if I wasn't saying those things and I wasn't focusing in the energy of focusing on that, because I didn't even know what to do about that statement. I didn't know questions to ask or new places to look. It just actually happened for me. And
That's
so
amazing.
putting your energy into those things, you just don't know. Like, they will happen in the craziest of ways,
Yep.
you know?
Awesome. You said you had another story too.
I do. And I'm trying to think what it was. I should have written it down, because it's like, I'm like, well, yeah, there was two, but one came out. Yeah, it'll have to come back to me because it was something similar. Oh, I know exactly what it was. Now I'm much more intentional about quieting my mind. I have
Mm,
quiet time every day. I'm in my scriptures every day, in prayer. And I've done those things before, but not consistently. And I like, oh, I'm so much better when I do them, but I don't know why I don't do it every day. Those kind of things. Well, now they're just part of my identity, and I know without them, I'm just not me, and they're so important. And so I've learned a lot about breathing and the nervous system and calming. And I know with Reiki, I've done some Reiki sessions, I've done some hypno breath work. I've just been trying different things that I was never open to before because I don't know, they sound scary. I don't want to be in my mind any more than I am. But I think differently now. So I was doing breath work. And during that time, because it's something you said, I heard words in my mind and they said, "You are safe." And
mm,
when I heard that, I knew I was going to start to release weight. And this happened back in August. Since August, I've released 30 pounds. Now, not just magically by sleeping.
yeah.
What that means is now I have this great desire to eat differently. I had been hemming and hawing over how I was going to get help because I've tried lots of different things in the past and I can get it out for a little bit, but then I always go back to how I was before. And there's something I tried in the past. Yeah, I was successful, then I wasn't. And as soon as I heard those words, I'm like, yes, this is what I need to do. I'm going back to this plan of the way of eating, and it's going to work. I mean, it was just a whole different energy. And it has been actually pretty easy. I don't find it hard at all. I didn't find it hard not eating dessert on Thanksgiving. I'm like, yeah, I don't want it. I just want to eat the food that's going to make me feel good and that my body is going to just keep on doing what it's doing because it's going to be a long road for me. I have a lot of weight to release, and I'm okay with that. I used to be like, oh, I got to hurry, hurry, hurry. But if you think about August to December, 30 pounds is a lot. But it's
Mhm.
actually going pretty quickly, and I know it will slow down. I'm giving myself a whole nother year to release the rest. I'm not like being like crazy about it, but if I hadn't had that moment of silence to hear those words that you are safe, because we talked about this is such a protection of
Mhm.
keeping ourselves safe. And I don't need to protect myself anymore from the things I think I need to. That is just a pattern I've been carrying. And I'm all about new patterns. But here's what I want people to hear: everything I've done has been one at a time. When I was running and tracking that, even though other things started happening, I started drinking more water. I started eating more protein. I started getting better sleep. All these things were happening. I only tracked the running,
Mm,
didn't track anything else because here's what I know. If I were to start tracking, oh, I need to drink more water. I need to get better sleep. I need to get up earlier. I need to do these things. I could be 99% perfect. And the one thing I miss, I'd be like, see, I suck. I can't do this. So when my clients work with me, they're only allowed to track one thing per 60 days till they move on to a new tracking. And tracking is really important. But that doesn't mean other things can't happen along the way. Within 90 days, I probably had 5 new habits going.
mm.
But I'd only tracked the one. But what we want to find is what's the one that's going to start the domino. And for me, it was moving my body. That was the domino I needed to get other things rolling. And then it's like a snowball, which you know about. You have them in your yard.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely snowing here. So, I want to kind of go back to, a lot of people look at me now and don't think that I had weight, issues,
Mm,
image issues, and all that stuff, But I love Dr. Christiane Northrup's work. I don't know if you've looked at
mm.
her.
I think I have one of her books. Probably haven't read it, but I do know who she is. Yes.
Well, one of the weight strategies that she has is to look at a picture of yourself from the
Mm,
weight that you want to be. Because I just said, I just want to be Monica in a regular sized body. That's what I kept
right.
telling myself. I just want a regular sized body. And of course, according to BMI, blah, 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 like I'm probably still way overweight. But
Yeah.
I'm a regular body. Like, I
Yes.
just feel like I am now, and I love that what you're saying about being safe. Like, I've had to tell myself that a lot. Put my hands over my heart and just say, I am safe. I don't have to protect myself anymore. And I know that was a protection shield. And so as I slowly, wear it away. But anyway, Dr. Christiane Northrup says to look at that picture and you actually don't have to make any other changes in your diet or life, or I mean, within reason,
Yeah.
obviously, but you're doing it mentally. You're doing
Mm.
it mentally and looking at
I'm
that.
writing this down. Find a picture.
She has a really good article about it, and it's always just fascinated me. And so that's some of the work that I did. And also just embracing who you are is, that self-love filters into your body, right? So when you've got more self-love up here, it's going to show up down here.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
so
yes.
I want to know how you know if something aligns with your soul.
I only know because I write about it.
Mhm.
And I didn't use so I used to be a journaler a long time ago. I had postpartum depression after my 4th baby, and I stopped journaling because I felt bad. I was kinda writing the same things every day, and I never wanted that child to feel bad. Wasn't her fault, it just happens. And so, I stopped journaling then, and haven't been a great journaler since. But that dream design that I started writing, that brought me back into just getting my thoughts on paper again. And so, how I know it's aligned for me is I look at that dream every day. And I just call it a dream. You might have other words for it, but that's just I like the not the fantasy of it, but it just feels lighthearted, airy, to have a dream just feels so positive, and that's why I call it that. Um, and I do dream very vivid dreams in my sleep as well, so I've just always felt like a dreamer, even either sleeping or awake. I just haven't done it awake for a very long time. And so that's how I know it aligns because in my writing of my dream, because I rewrite my dream at least once every 6 months because things evolve. I
Mhm.
think about, oh, I think about what I thought I would be doing at this time in my life, and it's nothing like it. I actually when I think about, oh, in your 50s, like I think, oh, maybe I'll be like playing tennis and going to lunch with my girlfriends and oh, just shopping and doing yeah, that's not it. And honestly, I didn't wanna do those yeah, okay, let me back. I do wanna do those things, but that's fun. But actually, what I love doing right now is working with people. I love what I'm doing. I didn't think I would have that. I thought, my husband, I look at him, he's an accountant. It's a grueling job, and he's been doing it for a very long time, and he is tired. And I'm
Mm.
like, "Dude, I'm energetic about what I do, like, I just love it so much." And so you can't know what you align with if you don't know what you want. That's what's so important is have you looked what are your values? That is the first thing I do with my clients. We go through what are your values? What
Mm.
you value, then you is what you're doing day to day aligning with what you value in your life, right? So of course, as you can guess, family is a big value for me. So yes, being a stay-at-home mom was aligning with my values. Now, was being a grumpy stay-at-home mom aligning with my values? No. So I needed something else. There was other things I value. I actually value like freedom, flexibility. There's other things that I value. So what are you doing with your life that aligns with? So that's really a good place to start if you're like, I don't even know how I could do that dream design, which I have a whole workbook that can help you through that. It's got questions just to kind of trigger thoughts in your mind that you can answer, but start with your values. What do you really value in life? And you can like Google, there's value charts or whatever. I have one, but yeah, that's where you start.
That's amazing. And do you have any, so you're journaling,
Mhm.
taking a step away to like reflect about, oh, is that really, where I'm at? Um,
Mhm.
And I totally agree with you about life. If somebody had told me 5 years ago that I'd be doing a vlog and all this, like,
Like,
and
what?
have a Reiki office and be teaching
Yeah.
online, like, I would have been like, "No, dude, like, I am going to finish my teaching career, and then I'm a realtor too, and, like that, I'll go do some real estate. I'll go sell some houses." But having discussions about my brain and how my brain thinks and why I choose this food over that food and all this stuff, like, I would have laughed. I would have been like,
Yeah.
"No, that's not for me. That's for somebody else." You
Yeah.
know? So, I love that. So, where can people find you and how can they work with you?
Okay, great. So you can find me on Instagram. It's just at Barbie Holt, the number one. I also have a Facebook group. You can find me on Facebook. It's under my main Barbie Weber. Holt is my full name on there. But I do have a Facebook group that it's just been relaunched. So under the title Unlocking Success. You can find that. And we're just kind of delving into success as a new, I've been focused on habits for the last 3 years, but I'm really delving into success and feelings of success because having all these goals, having all these habits, which help you reach your goals, which help you reach your dreams, we got to feel good the whole way through this process. Can't wait till we get here. And that's a big mistake I made in my network marketing career. I never hit the top 1% of the company, which was my goal. And so I never felt successful. Just
Mm,
so silly. So you're telling me that 98% of the people are not successful because they didn't hit this one thing? And I really want to redefine what people are thinking success means,
mm,
you know? And I was just talking to a client the other day, and I just said, there's something that's been in my dream for a long time, and that's when I wake up, like I jump out of bed with energy and ready to face the day. That hasn't happened. You can ask my husband at all. I still get out of bed and I don't really want to open my eyes and I kind of shuffle around. My husband knows not to talk to me for a little bit because he's very peppy. And I'm always like, I need like 1 hour. I'm shortening that time, but he just knows, yeah, he's not going to be like, good morning. Cause he used to do that to me and the kids. I'd be like, I need you to back up. Um, it's still a dream of mine. I want to not make, any whale sounds when I get in and out of bed or in and out of the car. Like I want to be different, but it's okay that it's still on my dream. I can't do everything at once, but I'm just looking forward to a day when like the sleep is getting better. And that's the thing. I was so focused on waking up energetically. Well, what does a person who wakes up energetically do? Well, they sleep well. Well, how do they sleep well? You have to work backwards almost in everything that you want. And so I've started, okay, well, they go to bed. They don't stay up late. They don't watch TV before bed. They're not on their screens. They don't eat, a bunch of crud right before they go to bed. They calm their nervous system. They have good thoughts. One of the things my clients do with me is every night before you go to sleep, this is like when you're in bed and your head hits the pillow, you ask what went well today. So the last thing you think before you sleep is something really good. Some days it's hard to think, God, what the heck went well? Especially during the holidays, this is a real struggle for women. We're running crazy, and it is such a vital thing. You might have just watched a dinosaur movie. You don't want to go to sleep with that. So you want to go to sleep with what went well today. So I do one-on-one coaching. I do lots of speaking gigs. But I do want to give everybody access to the workbook, and I think I gave you the link for the dream design, so that you can start. And it can just be any notebook. I just fill notebooks with this stuff, and you can just start with a day in the life. What's an ideal day look like for me? And then in that workbook, there's just, like I said, other questions just to kind of prompt you to maybe think another thought. And I go out 10 years when I'm dreaming. And this
mm,
is for a specific purpose. The brain has a hard time believing if it's short term, but anything can happen in 10 years. Think back to who you were 10 years ago.
mm,
I mean, 10 years ago, I had almost all my kids home. Now
mm,
I don't have any home. So a lot can happen in 10 years. And back to when you were telling me about the picture, this is so important. when we get that dream written out, we start to see it in our mind. I start to pull things and I start to say affirmations around them. I've doing affirmations for a long time. I never thought they worked. I'm like, they're just statements. They don't mean anything. Well, the reason they don't work is because you're saying things that makes no sense. And I'm going to give you an example. I used to make goal posters and I'd put this what's unrealistic, because you said realistic picture of you. I'd put unrealistic picture of somebody else on there, put
Mhm.
my head on there, and then I would write above it and I would say every day, I'm a size 2, because that's my ideal size. Well, what do you think my brain says to that? I don't think so.
That's not gonna work.
No. So I had to start learning, how do I work with my brain? I had to start saying things like, I'm strong. I've been carrying 100 pounds of weight for more than 2 decades, probably going on 3 decades. You don't think my legs are strong? The brain can believe that, right?
Mm.
I am strong. I started to, I am finding healthy foods that I enjoy. I don't have to say I love vegetables. I do like some, but it's not my favorite. But there are healthy foods I found that I enjoy. I just found these little jicama wraps that I make tacos with. I mean, that's just so weird. Who would have thought I'm like, this is so delicious. It's just insane. So I want everybody to do that dream design. I want you to start dreaming. I want you to just take that, and then um I have sessions available people can purchase to go through that dream design. I can help you through it. I can help you pull out the goals, the statements, and the one habit that you start going. That I'm really big on entrepreneurs or dreamers, but you got to take action. But people like, I don't know where to start. That's what I'm for. I will help you figure out where to start, and then I'm your cheerleader and I hold your hand the whole way through. So many things. It's so exciting.
Love that. Um, so I don't know if you do this in your dream work, but one of the things that I've learned in the spirit world is to write it as if it's happening right now.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
Because
100%.
tomorrow never comes, right? So, like, I have some people, even friends that I'm talking to, and they're like, "Oh, I will do this," and I'm like, "Oh, let's get rid of that future tense
Yes.
there because that's just telling the universe that that's not an option because it's tomorrow, and when tomorrow comes,
Yes.
and it will be today." So you have to like write it and feel it like it's
Yes.
already happening.
Yes.
Believe it, right? And then it's almost like I feel like we're kind of tricking the universe a little bit here because we're kind of like putting it out there and we're trying to tell the universe this is already happening. So thank
Yeah.
you for already giving it to me. And then that gratitude inside for everything that you have right now. I love how you say, like, this is a journey and it's not about getting, I always say, like, every step up the stairs, it's not about just the top stair, right? Like it's about
Yeah.
every step, enjoying every step, but also realizing that there is more, right? There's always a set of staircase in front of us, and how we
Yeah.
choose to take that next step is beautiful and hard and everything that goes with it, right? But
Yeah.
I I'm really about language like you are, and just making sure that, if somebody does, I hope that you do go get this dream journal. You start to read it or start to work with it, but pretend it's already happening. And I don't like
Yes.
to say fake it till you make it. I like to say
Mm-mm.
I'm practicing. I'm practicing showing gratitude for what's not necessarily here yet, but I'm practicing that gratitude so that I know that it's here.
Yeah, because at the top of the stair is a landing, because what you don't see is then there's a stair. You go up and then there's a landing and then you don't see those other stairs. That's our journey in life.
Right.
And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that is an important piece of how you word it. And I want to tell one final story before we wrap, that it's actually a tangible one. And but most of the stuff's intangible, but I want to share this tangible story because in my dream, I had a very clear vision of my dream home that I thought, when we're old and gray, which I'm hoping I'm never gray officially. I just got my hair done on Saturday. um, that we could live in this dream home. We lived in our home in Arizona since we moved here for 22 years. And we tried to move many times and it just never worked out. And so I started dreaming about our home and I knew exactly what I wanted it to look like. It had no stairs, it was one story. We didn't want a pool anymore because we didn't want we want the grandkids to have freedom to play in the yard. We wanted, citrus trees, and I wanted this office that had like floor to ceiling shelves. Now, why did I want that? Because I thought it was going to make me feel some way, a feeling. Not
Mm.
because I love shelves, right? It's because the feeling of floor to ceiling shelves feels opulent. It feels like success. It feels like, I don't know, you see the movies, it feels like warmth of a library. It just feels like me, right? So I was dreaming about that for not very long when crazy things happen. Like if I had hired a Hollywood scriptwriter, they couldn't have written how this happened. But something, and I had nothing to do with it. I was just dreaming the dream over here, and out of the blue, my husband had something crazy happen at work, which should never have happened. And we came into a lot of money, and it afforded us to be able to purchase a house. And my husband, and we were always kind of looking, we always were in the market. We thought, well, we'll get our daughter graduated. We really could go anywhere in the Phoenix area. We're not stuck in this town we're in necessarily, and blah blah. But he came and woke me up one morning, which he knows better, like, is somebody dead? But anyway, he came in and he said, I think I found the house. And I'm like, what? He goes, I think I found our dream home. And I'm like, okay. I came down and looked at it, literally had everything we were looking for. This was a Friday. We went and looked at it. We came back and looked at it on Saturday. Sunday, we put in the offer. Sunday night, we got it. And we closed 3 weeks later. This all happened in 2021. And I'm like, what just happened? Well, when I walked in and I saw those floor to ceiling shelves in the office, I'm like, this is it. This is the house. And we have to get it. There was 4 offers and we got it. And here's the funny thing about that office. I don't work in there. I can't stand it. It is so overwhelming, the amount of things that are on those shelves, and they're dark brown. There's one window, and I walk in and I'm like, oh, I'm actually working in my bedroom, which you're not supposed to work in your bedroom. That's where you sleep. All these things I was telling myself, and this is where the dream design is so important. What do you want? I look out at my navel orange tree. Right now is when they're ripe, so it looks like I have ornaments all over the tree, and I just get to eat those every day. We juice them, we eat them. There is so much light in this room. It makes me so happy. So I work in my room. I don't hardly ever go to that office that I dreamed of having, because what is the feeling I want? I want to feel light and airy when I work. So anyway, that's kind of a tangible design or a example of how dreaming. I just don't believe it would have happened had I not been dreaming about this. And it happened within 1 year of me first writing that dream.
And what's really interesting is that you weren't focused on how it was going to happen. You were
No.
focused on the what. And
Yes.
it's almost like we send out this, energy to the universe, like, you can help me make this happen,
Mhm.
how it's going to happen. And also, like, sometimes when we ask for something, first of all, there's that like selfish piece a little bit, like you got to get
Mhm.
you got to get past that it's okay to want these things.
Yes.
And then also the universe might give you more than you could have ever imagined, like,
It's
yes,
insane.
you were putting X, Y, and Z in your dream, but what about A, B, C? And the universe kind of throws those in too, right? Like it
Mhm.
says, oh, and we noticed that, maybe you wanted to be closer to, one of your kids, or you needed to,
Yeah.
like it will make those arrangements for you if you add and more to your wish list.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my gosh. Add
and
and
whatever
more. I'm
else.
putting that.
Like,
Yeah.
give me whatever else you think would be great, because you
Yeah.
like, I love how, like, you thought that that's what you wanted, those bookcases. It's kinda like
Mhm.
the running, right? Like, "Oh, like, I
Yes.
think I want this," but then it was giving you something else, and you're like, "Oh, wait, no, actually, this is a better situation." So, like, the universe
Yes.
can do that if we allow ourselves to be loved and taken care of by the universe.
Yes.
Oh, this is
Oh,
so much fun. I knew that we would talk for a long time. This is
yeah,
probably
sorry. Woo.
I know it's one of my longest vlogs, but it was so amazing and so yeah, we're just on the same similar paths. And please reach out to Barbie if you want to hear more about, what she does and how you can work with her. I'm guessing that you work online,
I
and
do.
so no
Yeah.
matter where you're listening from
Yeah.
today, know that Barbie is here to help your dreams come true.
And that dream design workbook, that is free for everybody. So you just download that thing. So, just so you know that. And then, you can reach out to me if you have questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Barbie,
Thank
for
you. This
the
was
vlog,
awesome.
the Soul Whisperings vlog. I appreciate you so much and enjoy that warm weather as we dig out from our snow.
I will.
Okay, take care.
All right. Bye bye.